thank you for joining us, everyone. I'd say this is probably going to be one of our most highly attended meetings. This is great. It's tough to take a night out when I'm sure there's sports schedules going on, dinner, everything going on, but this is a really, I think, important topic, and I've seen Jeff do this before, and I think you're going to take a lot out, whether it's your first child going through, whether you're reflecting on your own time in adolescence. I know he's going to say some things that will make us reflect on our own growing up. So it's a really informative talk. We are recording it, so we'll be able to add that up to our PTO YouTube page. So you can either share this. If it's great, share it. If it's not, take the memories with you.
And the PowerPoint will be on there too. I'll send them a PowerPoint. I flipped it around a little bit. I guess I can start with this. I'm going over this today, and I'm turned around, I'm going through it, and how do I want to present and stuff like that, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I failed that one last night. I have a 17-year-old, 14-year-old, so I'm in the throes of this, and I read this book, which is, it should be every parent's adolescent Bible, Quran, whatever you want to say. Get out of my life, but first can you take me and Charles to the mall? It's great. The guy's really funny. He's very informative. He's very straightforward. It's not highfalutin, or you're not listening to a psychologist psychologize. So that's good there. When I read it, I literally, Skuziak was telling me I should show the parents, this is what you're supposed to do to a book, kids. When you have a book, annotate it and underline, write in the margins. I got a lot out of it, and it's helped me with my kids. Okay. I wouldn't say it's been miraculous with adolescence, as you will hear. Adolescence marches on, regardless of how good we are at managing it. It still marches on. I want to thank Nancy Cogswell, who used to be the secretary here. She really, really helped me with this PowerPoint. Amy DeCrenza did really help me. My two PTO people for inviting me. Jeff and Monica and Chantel, who are great. And good people to work with. And again, as I said, the book. Sorry, I wore this last year, and I'm like, the dog is like, you're soulless at times when you have an adolescent, because the dog is nice and the dog doesn't do the things the adolescent does. So I figured I'd wear the tie again. Okay, bunch of stuff. Okay, first, I usually start this with, first of all, my name's Jeff. I'm a recovering parent of an adolescent, or maybe still suffering. As I told you, I have two kids, my 17-year-old. My 14-year-old's wonderful. He has not hit the throes of adolescence yet. A little developmental disability there, I think might be saving our lives. But my 17-year-old, we'll get into that later. What is adolescence for us? It's a real big pain at times. It's a theft of that lovable child. I find myself walking around the house, and every once in a while I'll see one of those old pictures when he was like 5 and he's got that little smile on his face, and you just long for that time. Why can't I have that child back when he didn't know everything and I knew nothing? It can be the bane of our existence. Okay, the reason that we think we're losing our minds and our grip on reality, when he looks you straight in the face and says something the opposite of what you just said, and you're thinking you lost your mind. Did I just not say that? I know I just said that, okay? But it's also a natural developmental stage that helps our kids become responsible adults. If they don't go through this, there's a good chance they're not going to be acclimated developmentally to where they need to be, okay? And again, it's necessary so our kids can grow up and become adults. Years back, it was funny, I saw this. Compare adolescence to a butterfly coming out of a chrysalis. If you think about it, if you ever seen the video, it's all gooey and messy and everything, and they come out and their wings are all wet and they're stumbling all over the place. It's difficult, even when they dry, it's difficult for them to first start to fly. That's our kids. That's our adolescents when they're 14, 15, 16 years old. I just read something recently about kids called tweens, between children and adolescents. the middle school age, how parents are now starting to say that but my sixth grader is acting like what you're saying now. There's this whole new philosophy, the new term called tweens, which is basically your adolescents that are not really in that stage yet. They shouldn't be there, but they are. But like butterflies, our kids will also get through this, they'll fly well, and it'll work for them, okay? And they'll grow up to be the people that we want them to be. We have to deal with the mess in the time. As I said, but you never look at butterflies again, same way. Okay, what are our kids experiencing? And this is some of the good stuff. They're experiencing immense physical and sexual changes and feelings. Well, they're growing. Everything's changing for them. Okay, they understand concepts and abstractions in a very different way. It's the concrete versus the abstract. Okay, work as a middle school educator, elementary school and sixth graders. There's this concrete aspect. In elementary school, learn the presidents, spit them back. In middle school, learn the presidents. Well, why is this president influential? That's the abstract. You have to use it. They're starting to think that way. So their very way of thinking is changing. This drive, they're experiencing a terrific drive to turn away from childhood and childish things. Okay? It's a childhood that they were safe in, that they were happy, that they didn't have to worry about, what am I wearing to school today? Do I look cool? Is my hair good? Is my hair not good? And then you get to be in the middle school where one kid you have to talk to about washing his hair, and the other one can't get out of the house because they're washing their hair so much. Think about it, this is pretty scary. I'm leaving that childhood, that safe place where I sat on mommy's lap and life was good. I'm leaving, I'm going out into this big bad world where I now have to be popular and have friends and all that other stuff. They have a terrific drive to be independent, to do things their way. Just a couple years ago, everything was fine. I'll do it your way, Mommy. Now they want to do it their own way. Okay? And they're caught between this tug of war. I want to be mature. Leave me alone. I'll do my homework myself. Can I sit on your lap and can we read tonight? It's that juxtaposition that they're in. They experience anxiety and vulnerability because life is no longer a childish one. In some sense, in the back of their head, I now need to become an adult. I now need to start growing up. Well, that's not fun. Why do I have to do that? So that's anxiety provoking for them. What else are they experiencing? Their drive to be independent is so strong, okay, that they don't even want to listen to their conscience anymore. I just have to do what I have to do to be an adolescent, to be my own person, to do my own thing. I just want to do my own thing. Okay, I'm not even going to listen to my conscience. And that's where some of us start to get in, where you get that phone call, and we hear it all the time. You must not be talking about my child. Sorry, we are. I have to do this. Last year, they never would have did this. But now I have to do it today, because I have to grow up. I have to do that. This need to push their parents away. Okay, that's how strong this drive is, because they represent the strongest connection to their childhood. I'm going to tell you later, we give our kids two things. We give them roots, nice stability, and then we give them wings. Okay? But they try to get their wings in ways that we wouldn't. Okay? And you represent their strongest connection to that childhood. I've got to go to the other place now, so you become almost like the enemy. I have to get rid of you for me to do this. We know it's easier to hang on to this and then step over. They don't want to do that. And again, part of this, it's great. When I did the presentation, part of it was like, I could read it and maybe educate myself. After last night, I could maybe read the presentation again and go back downstairs. The next time we as parents are going to lose it, remember what they're going through. Remember the turmoil. Remember the girlfriend who maybe didn't call that night. The other friend who didn't show up. The fact that I don't have as many friends as I should, even though there's no magic number of friends you should have or shouldn't have. Okay. Martin Kutcher, who's Hanky Kutcher's husband, is a pediatric neurologist, and I just recently read his book, ADHD Living Without Breaks. I love this line. All children and adolescents are still literally in the midst of a multi-year frontal lobe remodeling project. And he talks about how the frontal lobe is all your emotions and everything else. Think about it. Has everyone ever remodeled their house? Or a portion of their house? How does that go? Okay? 6 months, no problem. We'll be in and out. Ms. Tepper, no problem. A year and a half later, they're out. And there's 87 things you call them back about. They're remodeling their frontal lobe to become, and actually he talks about how that frontal lobe is actually maturing, actually growing as they go through adolescence. Okay, boys and girls, they're going to react differently. And and if you have one of each, I only have boys, but if you've got one of each, take some notes as you go through this. Boys, they hide. They go to their room. Okay? And again, Anthony Wolf is great in his descriptions. They go to their room, they close the door, they turn on the stereo, and they don't come out for 4 years. And when they come out with literally like they went in March 1st, 2005, they come out March 2nd, they come out 2010, and meanwhile they're thinking it's March 3rd, 2005. They just came, they come out, they disappear. So they literally almost like go into the cave like the bear and hibernate. Okay? They separate themselves from their parents by removing this. Okay? So boys on one level are literally doing this. They're literally saying, I need to separate from you. You're my parents. I'm going to go up to her room and do that. You're going to see the girls do this very differently. Okay? So the boys go up to their room. They say yes to everything, and oh my gosh, my son Teddy, he will, yeah, Dad. Yes, Dad. Yeah, Dad. I heard yeah, Dad 4 times yesterday, at least, in the 30-second conversation we had. Walked down there this morning, not even attempted. And he looked me in the face and literally said, yes, Dad. Yes, Dad, I got it. And you want to walk down the next morning and say, excuse me, moron. You didn't have it because you didn't clean it up. It was 2 plates. That's all I was asking you. You want to hang out in the basement, clean the plates up. Okay, they do not want their parents to know anything they are doing in their life. For boys, it's mostly due to their exploration of sexuality. Your mom and dad, ooh, freak me out. If I want to date a girl or date a boy or whatever, you're freaking me out. I can't sit on your lap last year and now think about kissing someone of the opposite sex or the same sex. I can't do that. And especially for moms, it's really bad. Okay, especially mom. It's really bad. Because basically, you're a girl. I can't sit on your lap last year and now hold another girl's hand. And he tells a story in the book. It is awesome. The mother's walking through the living room, the kid's sitting on the couch. She's just walking through and doesn't even say anything. And the kid goes, oh. And she goes, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I didn't even say hello. Because I know that's irritating. And Wolf is great because Wolf explains, it's just you're a female. He can't deal with it. He can't deal with the fact that you're a female and he's looking at other females, let's say. Can't deal with it. So they need distance from mom. They can still communicate with dad, but a lot of that communication is kind of like, do you believe they traded, so-and-so? It's a lot of surface connection. One of the things you'll see as we go, and some of the battling, some of the casual conversation is what they do, the sports conversation for boys. That's a way of staying connected, even though they don't want to connect. It's a way of getting the best of both worlds. And the important part of this stuff is to think about that as you're going through this. Okay, and one of the things that I'm going to get to later is when your child just did that thing that is heinous in your regard, and never in your house or family would that happen, it's okay. It's okay. Think about the other things, the things they just did the past 3 or 4 days that were not crazy, terrible adolescent stuff. They become lethargic and tend to do nothing, boys do. They're good at sleeping, laying in bed, using technology, or just vegging out. My son's an expert, 100% expert on vegging out and laying in the bed. Okay, on the weekends, 12, 4 o'clock? 2 o'clock. Maybe, 2 o'clock? Yeah, exactly. Girls, here we go. Girls battle. And then I love what he says here. Whenever my parents say, I will shriek out, do the opposite of, disagree with, you say it, I'll yell at it. Okay? You know the fight and flight? Boy flies, girl fights. And that's how it works. We'll try to get away with anything and we'll lie and sneak if need be. Some girls can have, they still can have a good relationship with dad. Moms and girls tend to be a little closer, so therefore that battling can be more intense because I feel like if I'm this close to you, I gotta battle a little, this close a little bit more. If I'm this close, I gotta battle a lot because I gotta get you out of here. You have to get away from me so I can grow. You gotta get away. I gotta grow. Okay, and as we talk about the moms, girls argue more than boys, way more than boys at times. However, my son has twisted that around. This is a good part. The fight does serve to keep them connected to their parents, thus making them feel secure. I read that and that was my exact, I think I said out loud to myself, what? So you're fighting with me to be connected to me? That's not exactly the path I would want, honey. Can we do it a different way? There's another way we can stay connected. And again, I love what Wolf says. It gives them both ways. I can battle with you and feel connected, and at the same time feel separated. We don't feel connected. We kind of feel a little shredded, but they're okay with this. This works for them. This is the other thing. Girls, and I've heard this from parents, the more I do this, the more I hear. It's literally like Monday, Tuesday. It's like they literally changed. They literally went to school, came home, and it was like, how did bitch mode come in all of a sudden? In 7 years, did they teach you that in the 7 hours of middle school that you came home with? However, they're not that way to me. I want you to know that. And in 6th grade, we just recently went through that part in time of the year where the friends from this school and the one kid who's not from that school, and then people are asking them to choose sides, like who are you friends with? We just went through that period of a month or so of middle school where there were like gaggles of girls coming into the guidance office, which is fun. General adolescent viewpoints. Parents are taken for granted. They do not see that they're doing this. Do not see it. Okay? My son will, we came home one night, he saw, we were running around crazy. We were totally busy. We had shared with him what we're doing. We get in our sweatpants, we sit on the couch. He walks upstairs 15 minutes later, I swear to God, and says, could you drive me to my girlfriend's? She lives a half an hour away. So that's a 2-hour trip. There and back to pick up. Didn't occur to him that we were out all day, it was some crazy thing we were doing. Didn't occur to him. He's taking his road test on Thursday. So we were practicing parallel parking on Sunday. It was a good, as far as that can go, I've heard the two biggest things for divorce or breakups are teaching how to drive or teaching how to skate. Okay? And potentially hurting your child hurting you. We actually had a good time doing it. So we come in, he goes down, we're talking about his road test, and literally my wife goes, Teddy just texted, can you get me a car? Do you need pizza? You get me a car. I'm like, dude, the pizza's $15. Can I start with that? Okay, adults are jerks. But here's the point behind that. Okay, we hate being jerks, but they need to see us as flawed. Because think of it, kids kind of look up to their parents. Their parents, for a lot of kids, can't do any wrong. So now, if I'm going to start being an adult, and my parent, who I look up to, is this perfect person on a pedestal, wow, I'm never gonna be able to do that. So if I view my parent as a jerk, now it's okay. Now I can be an adult and make mistakes too, which is a good piece. We're embarrassing for kids. The awesome thing in the middle school is to see which kids come up and kiss their parents or say hello to their parents, and what kids go, whoa. You're not here. And then we have the parents that say, they don't know I'm here for this meeting. Which is good. We just say, good luck. Friends are everything. They're absolutely, absolutely, absolutely everything. Okay, I recently have gone into the 6th graders' classes, and we've had a conversation about being a responsible learner. One of the things I talk about, and I love saying this to kids, if we go outside to the school and we look at the sign and it says, what does it say? It says John Jay Middle School. You're a student. When they do the census next year, you're going to come up. That freaks the kids out that they're going to be on the census in Washington. What's your job title? But they get it, I'm a student. And I say, we're talking about responsible learner. When they change the school to John Jay Social Club, I will never bother you about socializing again, because I get it. Your most important priority in your life right now as an adolescent is my friends, is my peer group, is who are my buddies, who are my friends. They must connect and stay connected with peers, okay? This is thing, I've talked to a lot of parents about this. They are here and now developmentally. It's here and now. If you tell your child at the end of the year, if you get 2 A's, I will buy you a go-kart. They will think about that June 15th. And they'll go to the teacher and say, I get a go-kart if I get an A. I know I got C's throughout the year. What can I do to get an A for the end of the year? Because they live in the here and now. They're literally entrenched in the here and now. So that's why the decisions they're making sometimes aren't right. They're not thinking about what happens afterwards. Parenting an adolescent. Okay, what does it like to be the parent of an adolescent? It's to do what you think best when really you have no idea what is best. At that time, because Monday night could be totally different from Tuesday night. Okay? And again, your job is to do what's best, to do what you think is best, or I just said that, I'm sorry. It's to ride out the storms and then come back the next day. Okay? And the thing I love what he says the most is to love your child who does not seem to want it, who does not seem to want it, to a child who 5 minutes ago seemed to deserve nothing more than a punch. When Amy was redoing this for me last year, she called me over and said, "You sure you want to leave this one?" I said, it's a quote from the book. And I want to share with parents. Yes, from the middle of 9th grade until the end of 10th grade, every day I wanted to hit my kid. Every day. And it's okay to think that. Because that's the thing that tells me, oh, I got to do something about this. I obviously I can't hit him. Okay? Even though, as Wolf says, he deserves it because of his attitude and his rotten behavior. Every day, I think it was every day. We were morons. The attitude was extreme. The tone was extreme. Okay? I'm building you up here. There is a way to handle this stuff. Okay? But that's great. Okay, we do 2 things. We give our kids roots and we give our kids wings. Okay, it's harder to give them wings. When your kid's a child, the first 6 months, and what's funny is when I first became a parent, my wife had been around younger kids, I hadn't. I learned that the first 6 months, you go to your child, you give your child whatever your child needs. That's the time psychologically where they learn that the world is a safe place so I can get my needs. I can get my needs met. You have to be changed, you get changed. You have to be fed, you get fed. You have to be picked up, you get picked up. There is no spoiling a baby. 6 months in a day, no. My wife told me no, it doesn't work that way. Then your child's growing up and you're taking care of them and they're about ready to come into middle school. What they're feeling is that even though they hear coronavirus, they hear all this other stuff that's out there in the world and some of the crazy stuff that we hear about, they're thinking that the world is a safe place. There might be crazy stuff going on in the world, but the majority of people are good people. then the majority of the world is good, and I'm gonna be able to grow up, and I'm gonna be able to get a job, and I'm gonna be successful, and I'm gonna have a family, and life is good. That's what you gave them. That's roots. That's the ability to understand that my roots are in the ground, and I can grow up to be this really cool tree. Now, we also have to give them wings. And for you and I, who look at those little 5-year-old pictures, and now we have a 17 or a 16 or 14-year-old shrieking at us, pretty hard to think that they're ever going to be able to fly on their own. Okay? You're an idiot. How are you going to fly on your own? You don't know how to talk to people. How are you going to fly on your own? But we need to do that. Because without that, they're not going to move out of your house one day, which we all will want. Some of us, maybe not right away, but eventually you will want that. So we give kids wings. That's the harder part for us to do. And we have to have faith that they're going to be able to do what they need to, and we have to adjust with them and help guide them as they do that. Okay, we need to accept that our kids need to grow up because we have little control over it. They're going to grow up. They're going to become adolescents. They're going to eventually graduate from high school, go to college, move out, and get a job. Even though how we may not want this. I remember within 2-3 years ago telling someone, I never want my kids to move out of the house. I adore them. After that sentiment has changed a couple of times. Okay, even with today's society, the media, the phones, that places a real tough thing on us, a real tough twist on us on the phones. You know, the monitoring as best as we can. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Once my kid hit about 11th grade, I would have needed to literally employ someone 24/7 to go over everything he was doing on the phone. What I will do, and what I do is when things come up in the news, when I hear stuff at school, I bring it back and I give them the teachable moment. You know what happened today? Do you believe this? So-and-so did this. This state just passed a law that when you sext, it's a felony because it's child pornography. So I try to keep teaching my kid in those teachable moments. Okay, we let our kids take on their day and their day-to-day responsibilities. Let them do their homework. Set that up so they're doing it. You don't want to do their homework because for most of us, after they hit around 7th grade, we're going to be challenged there. Okay, let them do it. That's important. They need to start taking on and doing it their own way. This is super important. I've lived this myself. Avoid putting our needs or preconceived notions on our kids. They will make mistakes. No kid is mistake-free. They're going to make mistakes. And if we have this they must do, oh my God, if this happens, well, they're going to get a scholarship in lacrosse. They're going to be on high honors. They're going to graduate with a 99 average. What happens if they don't? When we set up preconceived notions for our kids, and that's not pushing our kids in the direction that we feel they should go in. Okay? My older guy is a very talented athlete who's been told time and time again in football and lacrosse he could play at a Division II or Division I level. Does not want to play. Does not want to play. Killing me. I'm dying to see it. I've enjoyed watching him play. Part of my preconceived notion, which it took me a hard time to flip, is I was anticipating him playing. My preconceived notion was he was playing college football or college lacrosse. He's not now. Be careful with preconceived notions. They set you up. And then it usually becomes a battle with your kid. And we're going to talk about the battles and the debates because that's the biggest part of adolescence. Keep things in perspective. Not everything is a tragedy or a catastrophe. Okay? The worst thing in the world for most of us to hate is, oh my God, my kid got suspended from school. It happens. Kids get suspended. Again, we're getting back to that preconceived notion. It's not a tragedy. Teddy did. And when it happened, I thought, oh my God. And you think this black and white. It's either all good or it's all bad. No, it's not. And it really wasn't that bad. And we dealt with it and we used it as a teachable moment and we moved on. Okay, very, very important. Everything is not a tragedy or a catastrophe. We tend to in our society do that. And we have to try and not do that with our kids, with the people who we care and love the most. Accept our kids for who they are. What if they are not perfect? Okay, what if they're not the person we envisioned or dreamed of? Okay, what if they don't get the scholarship to Harvard? Setting something up pretty big there. You might want to have goals. And in middle school, we talk about daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals. Okay, here's goals that we're shooting for. You can have goals. Goals are good. Okay, moving forward. Okay, after all that, what can we do at home with adolescents? Okay, part of that depends upon what your goal is, okay? If your goal is to control your teenage child and make sure that they do nothing wrong or bad, fun in their eyes, okay, then this is gonna be a very frustrating and battle-ridden experience for you. Okay? If you're trying to control your adolescent, if you're trying to make sure they don't make any mistakes, they don't make the wrong decision, and I talk with parents whose children maybe fail a test, and it's the end of the world. See, kid failed a 6th grade test. That's far from the end of the world. Harvard will never see that. I can guarantee you that. Might be a lowly guidance counselor, but that I can guarantee. Okay. You and your child may end up in a place that neither of you want to be, not liking and not trusting each other. Okay? Because the goal of this is, like I said before, is to ride this out and help your child and guide your child in the best way possible so they end up at that place that's successful, happy, and healthy. Okay? You don't want to get there and your child doesn't like you because all you did was battle with him or her the entire 4, 5, 6 years of their tumultuous adolescence. You don't want to do that. But if your goal is to guide your teenage child and help them see that doing negative things, again, fun in their minds, is not what you want them to do, and that you're going to set rules that are good for them, even if they don't listen, okay? You're going to model for them, okay? And in the end, you're still going to love them. Even when they do something that you do not approve of, okay? Then you stand a chance of surviving adolescence, and your child's probably going to end up liking you. And at some point in time, you're going to end up in that place where, oh my God, it's over. Great story. My father once says that, I think I was 17 or 18 years old, and my father looked at me straight in the face and said, because I was questioning him on something, and he goes, how did I get this far without you? To which my reply as an adolescent was, I don't know. Kind of worries me. Kind of worries me. I don't know how you got this far without me. I think I was 25. My dad did something, and again, I have no recollection of what the things were. It's the tone of it. And I said, wow, Dad, that was really good what you did. I'm really impressed. My father looked at me and said, really? I said, yeah, no, it was really, and then I went to explain why it was good. My father did this, and it's great. My dad's a guy who didn't graduate high school. Mary, he's back! Yells across the house to my mother that I'm back. Okay, that's what we're all looking for our adolescent to come back. Okay, again, the road's gonna be bumpy. These are key kind of things in the PowerPoint. It's not the road you would choose, but it's theirs. And we do not get the option of traveling on it or not. They're gonna go through adolescence. As much as you might be a scientist, you ain't gonna change it. They're still gonna go. Okay, ways to think. Teenagers don't want to overthrow the system. They just want to get around it. They don't want to get rid of mom and dad. They just want to get around it. They really do want to follow the rules. They just want to get around it and have fun. I understand I got to come home, but I want to go over to John's and sleep over. So I sleep over without telling you. And you're looking for me 2 o'clock in the morning, not knowing where I am. What do you mean? I'm sleeping over John's. You didn't get my text? Oh, I forgot to send it. They just want to get around it. They just want to do what they want to. Your teenager's not doing the things they do with malice. They're not looking to ruin your lives. Sleeping over John's was fun. They didn't mean for you to get a heart attack. They just wanted to sleep over John's. They're just trying to be the independent person they want. Why can't I decide to sleep over John's when I want to sleep over John's? Because you're 16 and I'm in charge. That they don't like to hear. Parental concern helps kids know they're not alone. Okay, all these things, they want to do this, they want to do that, they want to do this, but no, you're not allowed to sleep over John's. You need to tell us ahead of time and ask us ahead of time. And I'm going to get into this. It's you set rules, you stick to the rules, and you stick to the rules, and you stick to the rules, and you stick to the rules, even if they don't follow. That becomes the defining piece. And Wolf is really good with talking about how to do that. Okay, rules are given and tasks are assigned to teenagers. They need boundaries. But they're gonna resist them and they're gonna buck on them. That's stupid. My son is an expert. No matter what analogy I give him, that's stupid. That doesn't fit. That doesn't go. It's immediate. It's immediate. It works 100%. It's stupid. It doesn't go. He's an expert at turning stuff down. Okay, but they will break the rules and not complete or even start some of the tasks. Okay, but now here's the thing. You're not battling your child. You're looking to help them through adolescence. If you get in a win-lose scenario with your adolescent, you lose. So if you're thinking about it from that, no, you got to do what I tell you. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. When the rules are broken, we have to confront the breaking of the rules with relaying our disappointment, and we emphasize the fact that the rule remains in place. Okay? We're not going to fight. You're not going to fight or punish. The rule remains in place. So is it more important to you violated the rule? I said 11 o'clock. You came home at 12 o'clock. So now there's a consequence. What's more important, the consequence or drilling home the rule? You drill the rule, drill the rule, drill the rule. Okay? That's the important part. Okay? Wolf is really big with saying punishment is not going to work. Yes, there are times where kids step way over the line and there's a consequence because of that. Like in my house, if you were to be mean to another child in school or outside of school, no, there's a consequence. Because that's one of the tenets I've laid down with you since the time you're old enough to understand it. There would be a consequence there. Punishment and consequences usually don't work. What they do is they create animosity. Because now the kid's sitting in his room, he can't go out, he can't talk to his girlfriend, and now he hates you. And every moment that goes by, he hates you a little bit more. Nothing to do with the fact that he came in late and you took the phone and sent him to his room. Totally lost the point. He's now stewing. She's now stewing. So it's not working. What he basically says is you stay with the rule or the task, even when it's disliked and disobeyed. Quiet, calm, consistent. Nope, it's got to be cleaned up. Nope, it's got to be cleaned up. There's time, my son's room, oh my God, I can tell you 1,400 stories about cleaning the room. Okay, 1,400 stories about cleaning the room. I could tell you to clean your room, tell you to clean your room. The say yes and do no. There was one day, I counted it. I think I went up to his room, this was around 3 or 4 years ago. I think I went up 30 times on my way of doing things. Teddy, clean your room. Teddy, you gotta clean your room before you go out. I think I told him 30 times to clean his room. What I did, and again, some parents are gonna wig on this. They're gonna say, this is wimpy, this is weak. I went in there and said, come on, we clean your room. And I cleaned the room with him.
Right.
He started cleaning the room with me. So I got done what I wanted to get done. Okay, and in the end, he actually started cleaning the room. Did it irritate me that I had to tell him 30 times, and then start to do it and initiate it? Yeah. But what's the premise? The premise is I want to understand you need to clean your room. Okay? Intent versus the exact letter of the rule or the task. What's the goal really? Stay focused on the goal. Wolf talks about really well how when you set a time for your child to come home at 11 o'clock and they come home at 11:15 or 11:30, they're late. Do they get nailed? Do you punish them? What's the intent of the rule? And what's the actual following of the rule? Did they break the rule? Yes. Did they follow the intent of the rule? Yeah. They came home at 11:15, 11:30. What do? It's 11 o'clock. If you can't follow that, eventually I'm gonna have to move it earlier, so if I move to 10:30, then you'll come home at 11. Okay, but that's the conversation. I stick with the intent of the rule. What is the, don't get caught on the every little specific part of the rule. What are you trying to get your kid to do? Trying to get them to come home, basically when you tell them to come home? Yes. That's where you show your disappointment. That's where you show that, you know, son, you have to come home when I tell you to come home. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, no, you can't go out sometimes because you're not listening. But I'm not punishing. I'm not nailing them for stuff. Okay, this is all Nancy's little slide changes.
I love it.
Okay, rules and tasks will need to be refined as the teenager finds ways around them or reasons to debate them. This is critical. And I'm telling you, Teddy, if Teddy ever sees this, he'll like probably leave. And now he has reason to, I said it. He is, and you're gonna hear about this, don't debate an adolescent. There's a whole slide on this. You're asking for trouble. He's expert at debating everything, okay? But here's the thing. You might have to refine the rule a little bit. You might have to change the rule a little bit, alter it a little bit. But here's the thing, as parents, we get that, oh, I'm so mad at you because you didn't do what I wanted to. Well, I'm gonna get you with this version. The I'm gonna get you backfires. Now you have argument. Calm, quiet, consistent. You're not coming home at 11. This has happened 2, 3 nights in a row, 4 nights in a row. Next time you go out, it'll be 10:30. Well, that's not right. I know it's not right, but when I ask you 11 and you keep coming home after 11, now I gotta adjust back. Or they throw a new wrinkle into the system. Just adjust the rule. Be careful how you adjust the rule. You don't want it to be I got you. Because adolescents, especially boys, do not like to play I got you. You play I got you, they say, oh, I'm good at that game. I'll get you back. Rules and tasks can be refined and changed when the teenager makes valid points. Teddy's now hanging out in the basement. He's now living in the basement. For a long time, probably 6 or 8 months, he could hang out in the basement, and then he had to go up to his room to go to bed. He finally made a choice and said, I will get up on time, I'll get out to the bus on time. Oh, I'm sorry, I know what happened. We forgot, we both fell asleep, and now it's 2 o'clock. I'm not gonna ask him to get up now. So the next night I said, listen, tonight, man, you gotta get upstairs on time. You're old enough to do this on your own. So look, I got up, I got out to the bus on time. I'm telling you, I proved I can do it. Okay, no problem. As long as you can do it, I'll adjust my rule. When they have a valid point, did it really matter? You know why we wanted them upstairs? Because then we're all upstairs and it's easier for us to nudge him to get him out of bed. If he wants to change the rule to a point where he's gonna get up and get out on time, he's pretty good about it. He's 17, so he's not gonna be perfect. but he's been pretty good with it. What the heck? I'll change the rule. I'm good with that. Excuse me. Don't waver, stick with the rule. Consistency will pay off. Okay, and that's Wolf's big on that. If I say it's 11 o'clock, I say it's 11 o'clock, I say it's 11 o'clock, and if it's coming home at 11:05, 11:15, 11:20, 11:10, pretty damn good. Stick with the rule. Don't waver. Stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. Don't bump it back to 11:30, because then you're going to start coming home at 12. Okay? Don't debate the rule or task. Do not do that. I have a whole, the next slide is all on that. The key in decision making is that parents make the decisions, and these decisions must be their own right or wrong. Okay? One of my favorite things for Teddy is this. That's stupid. That makes no sense, that rule. That's okay, Teddy. My parents made rules for me that I didn't like. These are the rules we think that are most appropriate for you. When you're a parent, you can do them your way. But sorry, they might not be right or wrong. And I tell you what, in 10 years, 15 years from now, if you can prove to me they were wrong, I'll admit it. But right now, sorry, there's the best thing mom and dad have coming up with. That's what we're giving you, kid. Sorry. Parents who reverse decisions change their mind when you're not getting bullied. Don't get bullied into it. When you've decided, like I did with the basement, that's okay. You can change your mind. You're in charge. You can change your mind. Don't say that. Don't tell them you're in charge, because that's not gonna go well. Okay, debate and battle. Would any of us in here go into the ring with a one or two heavyweight boxing contender? Would anyone do it? I'm not doing it. Why would you debate the world's best debater? There is no one that can debate better than an adolescent. So if you get in a debate with that person, oh, you're gonna get beaten up and bloody just like the heavyweight would do to you. They're gonna debate with you. You want to avoid the debate. Don't get stuck on the debate. Okay? It's a no-win. Okay? They battle and debate with us to try and get their way, so they can stay connected with us. That piece before, not the way we want them to stay connected with us, and to know that they are not alone. When they battle with us, we need to try our best not to take it personally. But they can say some pretty mean, hurtful things. Okay? Teddy's favorite was, I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to get out of here. Now, my wife's really good at this. I'm not as good. I'm kind of a little emotionally laden. She's better than me at this. So that was his thing. Because he knew for me, because I'm the guy that wanted my kids to stay around forever. I love my kids. Oh my God. I want to stay forever. Okay, I'm just hoping Teddy gets a really good job and lives someplace close. But that was his stab. That was his thing to stab me. Okay? But then there was one time I did in a calm, consistent way come back at him, and I actually kind of had him speechless. He's down in the basement one day and he yells up, I can't wait to get out of here. So I not yelled down, but so he'd hear me, raise my voice so he'd hear me, and said, when you act this way, neither can I. When you're that wonderful child that I really enjoy, I want you to live here forever. But when you act like an idiot like this, yeah, I'm pretty much on the you moving out too. But again, don't get involved in the debate with them. They want a battle, okay? And they will say mean, hurtful things. They know us well. They know the things that are going to dig us. You can't take it personal. You have to, and again, that's a hard thing I try and do with me. That Okay. Why is adolescence important? Why am I taking the brunt of it? Because it's safer. If they did that with their coach, they're off the team or they're on the bench. If they did that in school, they're talking to him. It's easy to do with you. You love being kicked out of the family? No. Okay. We think about what they're going through. Okay, this is that piece, getting back to what they're going through. And in that point in time, the last thing you're thinking about is sorry for your child. Okay, you're getting back to I want to hurt my child. Yeah, but think about what are they going through? What's the tumultuousness? What's the up and down? This battle they're going through. This change from a child to a man or a woman. What's that they're going through? They're going through a lot. So you know what? I've done that. I'm an adult. You know what? I'm going to let it bounce off. Okay. The one thing I didn't cover is you do want to call them when you have that task or they're being that nastiness that I talked about that they can get into. You want to call them on that. When they cross the line, you call them, and you call them on that. And we did that a lot. In that year and a half of 9th and 10th grade, we did that a lot, which is, that's unacceptable, you've crossed the line. And we would literally, that's straightforward. That's unacceptable, you've crossed the line, you cannot talk to us that way. You can be mad at us, you can not like us, you can not agree with us, you are not allowed to talk to us in that manner. And I will tell you, in that year or so, we had to just, and this is that task where you just ad nauseum, you just repeat the same thing over. You call them on it every single time, call them on it every single time. Some parents might think, well, this isn't helping. He's still doing it. But it is. We could see it lessening. And when there was a certain point where that stopped. And again, as you're saying, you're consistent. They want to follow the rules. And if they see you're not going to back down, that's the point you're making, which is, I'm not backing down. You're not allowed to talk to us that way. So only one time that he cursed at us, we both got up. Have you ever seen lions pounce on a kill? My wife and I got up, immediately zipped to the staircase, because he was starting to walk up the staircase, halfway up, and literally was straightforward. You do not talk to us that way. You never ever curse at us. This does not happen. He immediately apologized on his way up the stairs. He stopped because he was kind of told he had to stop. Started walking, apologizing. 20 minutes later, came down, walked through the dining room to go to the kitchen, because we're figuring the avoidance is going on. So we're figuring he's going to come out of the dining room and go through the dining room back. What he did was, he actually walked through the family room right by us. And on the way through it, no eye contact. I can't give you everything. I'm sorry. For a second time. But that was for someone like Teddy in the adolescent place he was at, that's huge. And that's what I was saying before. When the things go down that really bum you out, that really irritate you, think of those pieces. You're going to hear from other parents how wonderful your child is. And you're looking at them going, was it another child over and you just thought it was mine? My son's girlfriend? Oh my God, her parents love him. So they just took him to Turks and Caicos with them. They begged us for him to go. And we said we wouldn't take him around the corner. No, he's gotten a lot better. He's a lot better. Okay, don't let them push your buttons. They're trying to irritate you. When they say really hurtful things, they're trying to irritate you, or they're trying to sidetrack your conversation. You can't go out, you always say stupid stuff like that. You're just trying to ruin my life. You did it last week when my girlfriend came over. You said, I did not do that when your girlfriend came over. We're 3 steps away from the time to come home. They're experts at it. Oh my God, they are experts at it. They should be the ones selling stocks and bonds. Okay, we need to tell them that they've stepped over the line. That's the thing I didn't know if I passed it by. We need to tell them without an attitude that this hurts. That's not acceptable. You can't do that. If you want to tell me you disagree with something, you can do that any day of the week. You're not allowed to be mean and cruel. Again, don't get in a debate with the world's greatest debater. You're gonna lose. Adolescents will debate us to derail us for the original issue. That's the other thing I said. Okay, a couple things, a couple specifics. When discussing a task or a rule, a point, a question, etc., state your position and do not continue the conversation. Okay? You state your position, do not continue the conversation. Okay? So last night I came downstairs and I had the conversation of, listen, this lacrosse season, I really like you to come out and I'd like you to do it this way and that way and this way, because I had just come from a coaches meeting listening to Christian McCarthy, and I'm like, okay, this is the way we should do, this is the way my young athlete son should play. And I went downstairs, and it was funny, as I'm doing it, I wrote, I did not do this last night. And I came out and I laid it out for him, and he goes, okay, Dad, now I should have left. Okay, I got stuff to do, I should have left. What happened though was I played typical parent who hadn't read this enough, and I was waiting for a reply, because as a parent, don't we want to have that a reply? If I ask you what color is your shirt, I want you to say purple. Okay, so if I had that conversation, here's how the lacrosse season is going to go this year, I expect them to say, yes, Dad, you're right, that was a good idea. I'm sure I could become all section dad. I was living in my little fantasy world, my little setup that I had before, my little dictum that I created for myself, and I waited for that conversation to happen. The conversation deteriorated, nothing crazy, but it was like, yes, Dad. I said, well, when are the practices this week? Now I was getting back at him. Are there practices this week to start? I told you I didn't look, Dad. I didn't follow the rule. Come down, state the rule, the point, and say, great, yes, Dad, great, thanks, go. And the one thing I've learned, the next time you can state the rule, state the rule. State the point. Nagging, surprisingly, we need to do this. You'd think with an adolescent, they get really ticked if we nagged them. However, don't be over the top with it. Okay, don't do that traditional nagging. Restate the rule. Chances are, like Teddy's room is not going to get cleaned, but you restate it and restate it and restate it. Eventually, at times he cleaned his room. Sometimes I had to say, can I go to so-and-so? Can you drive me to so-and-so's house? Sure, if you clean your room. There wasn't the nasty aspect of only if you clean your room. Now I'm issuing a challenge. Sure, if you clean your room. Same exact statement, same exact point, but I'm just saying it with like a little bit of a, oh, I'll work with you, no problem. Okay, you have to, when we talk about separation, you have to remove yourself from the room. Some kids are really determined. He even talks about, you have to end up having that book in the bathroom and locking yourself in there. Just don't listen. Let them tirade. You're not going to do it anyway. Don't get into the debate. Only leads to a battle. Separate. It's their home field. If you go into the debate with it, you're going to lose. They're good at that. Advice. Give your kids advice. You'd think as an adolescent you shouldn't be giving them advice. I would suggest use those teachable moments when they come up. Okay, especially when we're talking about drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Use the teachable moments when you see it in the newspaper. He actually, a guy I coached with was a Carmel police officer, and he would come to school and he would tell me about having to Narcan kids. And
What's that?
It's when a child is overdosed on heroin. There's a drug that can literally bring them back to life.
Oh.
Sometimes. And there was a time where Mike had come to practice, and Mike shared that there were 4 kids, 2 of them were brought back. So we had that
How old
conversation
were
on the
they?
way home.
Young?
High school, right out of high school.
Oh.
And so we had that conversation on the way home. That's the teachable moment. What I found is when you throw out things like that, they're generally not discounted. you generally have decent conversations. That's what I found out. And again, I'm not trying to throw anything on him or make him do anything. I'm just throwing out a conversation into the air. He loves to talk politics. That's a good one. They won't listen to your advice because they need to learn to become their own person. Give them the advice any way they may use it. One of the things I say I do as a school counselor, and I have occasionally gotten a letter 5, 10 years later saying everything you did helped me. You plant this, you're planting a seed, you're planting a seed. Seeds may not grow now. They have those plants in the desert where every 20 years is a rain and they grow. Plant the seed. Save the seed. Even if it's, I expect to be home on time. Okay, we're getting near the end. Listen to your kids. Listen to your kids. Respect is earned. Okay? Don't give advice when listening. The amendment didn't come in. And what I wrote there is this is tough to do. We live in the United States where we're all geared to produce. As you're talking to me, I'm thinking what I'm going to say. Listen. And then be quiet. And think about your response. Kids usually don't feel like they're listened to because they're an adolescent and because a lot of times they're not. Really listen to your kid. Empathize back. I hear you saying you want to stay out later. But no, you haven't come home on time past 4 times. So I'm not going to go there. You can't plan when a talk will happen, and we have to stop and listen. You have a child, an adolescent, who has the tendency to not want to really have conversations with you because you're the adult and you're wrong and you're crazy and everything else. When they want to talk to you, that's when you want to, and that's when you want to stop. They usually happen what I find, they usually happen in the car, and they will talk forever. You get nothing, and then they will talk forever. So we go back and forth to the high school. I was during the whole season. Must have been 10 times, 20 times. So meanwhile, we have to go someplace where it's a 45-minute drive. So I'm thinking, great, I got a lot of stuff going on in my head. It's a great time to synthesize, go through everything. He wanted to talk the entire damn minute from the time we got in the car to the time we got to the place. You don't, what you want to say is, you don't talk when we're going 5 minutes to the high school, and now you won't stop talking for 45 minutes when I really wanted to think. But you got to take advantage of it. That's that bonding time. That's the time where you have the conversation that's not inflammatory, and it's fun and it's enjoyable. Take advantage of those. Those are important. Those are the times you think of when the bonehead thing is done. You know what? We just had an awesome conversation the other day for 45 minutes in the car. And I'm telling you, at times I thought his jaw was going to break because he was talking so fast. Punishment, okay. With our modern adolescence punishment, like threats, grounding, physical punishment, lectures, and motivation, attitude, even rewards, it doesn't really work. He's not a fan of it. I'm not entirely on his campus where there's no punishment. I think there is a time, so like I said, if you can't come home several times at 11 o'clock, well then we're going to adjust it so this way then you will be home at 11 o'clock. That may backfire on you and then they might come home at 12. But what I have found, they are so connected to their phones, that can be a powerful tool. Lost phone for about a month at one point in time. And I love this. Give me phone back at the end of the month. So how was it with that phone for a month? It wasn't as boring as I thought it was going to be. Which I thought was a very interesting comment. Taking away the little special things, okay? If you go to Carvel every Friday night, if you go to my little guy Harry and I do puzzles, we do 1,000-piece puzzles together. If I'm mad at Harry, the absolute last thing I would ever do, even if Harry was grounded for a month, was to stop doing puzzles with him. If you go to Carvel Friday nights, never take that. Do not take away those connective pieces, because sometimes they're the most important things you have. And that will, you wanna talk about that, like the cut to the heart thing? If you tell the kid, and this Friday we're not going to Carvel. What you did was you didn't just put a punishment or a consequence, you wounded. And that's what you want to avoid. Consistently keeping the rules in place, sticking to decisions. If consequence is necessary, again, I found the phone works really good. Okay, give me your phone. When are you getting back? Depending upon, I remember losing my car when I was younger. I said to my dad, when am I getting back? He goes, I don't know. That I don't know was more effective than losing the car. Okay, extra last minute advice and recap. Stay calm and focused. Do not overreact. Calm, quiet, consistent. You almost want to be annoyingly calm and quiet and consistent. I don't do that the majority of the time, but I wish I did, because I think a lot of those small conversations that spin wouldn't spin. Stay focused on the goal of the conversation. They will sidetrack you in a New York second. You'll be on 14 conversations later. Sometimes, and Teddy's good at this, there'll be great conversations where he's talking about sports or he's talking about this, and I just got sucked in. And I went upstairs because I'm Mr. ADHD, and half an hour later saying, I never talked to him about not having his friend over tonight. That's okay. His friends are actually pretty nice. Don't take it personally. They're just being self-centered, self-absorbed adolescents. It's really not. They're really not trying to be mean. They're just all about themselves. The rest of the world doesn't exist, including you. Separate, don't get dragged into a battle or a debate. That's key. The key there, and again, when I was, dang, I should have made my statement separated because I think it would have been taken. I don't know if it was taken now, the point I made. Get outside help if you're struggling with your teenager, or talk with friends. There's power in commiserating, there's power in talking to your neighbors. I remember at some point in time talking with someone, and we looked, and this one buddy of mine, Chris, who's a superintendent, he goes, I just wanted to hurt him. I said, oh my God, thank you. Because for the past week, yes, I wanted to hurt him. You know, it's really great. If you think it's over and above, get an outside person involved. Get a therapist involved. If you really want to talk to one of the counselors, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to have that conversation with you about, because this is the fishbowl scenario. When you, how many of us have had a goldfish? You have a goldfish? Okay, great. Here's the goldfish in the bowl. And you buy the castle, right? By the castle, the goldfish swim around the bowl, and you're watching the goldfish, and you want the goldfish to swim in the door and come out the top of the castle. Come on, it's entertaining. So you're sitting there going, does the fish do it? No. And you're sitting there looking at the fishbowl saying, stupid goldfish, go through the castle and come out the top. It's easy for you. You're outside the fishbowl. You're looking at this whole scenario. You can see that there's a front door and a top. The goldfish is in this huge, big fishbowl. He'd swim around this incredibly big castle that's 10 times his size. He doesn't have a clue where the door is, if there's a top, is it dangerous, is it not? The goldfish in the bowl is you as the parent. One of the counselors, your friend that you're talking to, they're outside the fishbowl looking in. Get that perspective from someone if you need to. I've always called that the fishbowl perspective. All kids, even teenagers, want to behave, so consistent rules that don't go away help them through adolescence. Okay, there are times where Teddy's done stuff, and we've gone to call him on it, and he has basically said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Those are the times where you go, what I'm doing is working. It's not gonna be perfect. Adolescence isn't gonna be perfect. Trust your child and believe in this trust. They may surprise you. Teenagers lie. So did we when we were teenagers. That's the other point. I remember being so mortified that he lied to me. And someone went, you lied when you were that young. And I went, you're right. Okay, readjustment. Teddy, I don't want you to lie to me. Okay, yeah, okay, no problem, Dad. Your child's adolescence will end, and most kids actually become nice to you again. It's a stage. I love what he says. In truth, what really matters is not whether you're able to perfectly control your teenager, but whether you hang in there every time and come back for more the next day. Okay? Again, we give our kids roots and wings. It's harder to give them wings because unlike us, when we hang on to the roots and we go like this, and we go like this, and we go like this, and then we grab and come over, they chop, burn, and bury the roots and jump. And we're sitting there as adults going, this makes no sense. Why are you doing that? Why don't you do this nice and logically? Because we're not adolescents. We're through that. This part I love. I love you no matter no matter how you treat me, and I will love you tomorrow. The biggest part of adolescence is I love you, and no matter what you do, I'm gonna love you tomorrow. And then I'm gonna love you tomorrow, and then I'm gonna love you tomorrow. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm gonna love you tomorrow. That's the absolute most important thing. And that's the message you want your kid to get. Whether you talk mean, whether you do something that's not bright, I love you and I'm gonna love you again tomorrow. Any questions?
What's the name of the book? You probably went over that.
Get out of my life, but first can you take me and Cheryl to the mall?
Oh.
Which is quintessential adolescence.
So we're gonna post this video, so we've been recording, we'll also post this, probably, I'm sure we'll send it to PTO, we may even post it on our own website as well.
You got it. Yes.
When does this end? 18?
Well, they used to say adolescence was from 13 to 19 or 20. Now I think they're saying adolescence starts at anywhere around 10 and could go to 40. No, the general scenario is, I can tell you from my own thing. 9th and 10th grade, it was a ride. Yeah, I was on the roller coaster. I wasn't strapped in. I was slamming into everything. After 10th grade, we were in the summer between 10th and 11th grade, and my wife and I looked at each other in the summer and said, "Is it me, or has he been nice?" And we went, "Yeah, he really has." The little nastiness still crops up. Okay, decisions don't necessarily get made correctly or get made really responsibly. That's okay. Okay, so generally you're looking at, anywhere, end of high school, end of college, kind of a thing, where now they're becoming their own person. The goal is to help them through it, so they make the least mistakes.
Were any of you at the Liz Jorgensen talk at the high school earlier this year? I think some of you may have been. But I have the slides here from that speech, and she's a psychologist, and what she shared was that a lot of what we're talking about has to do, and I know you talked about the prefrontal cortex, and that's not fully developed until the age of 25. So, all those things, and again, when we think back to our own high school, our own college, like when did things really make sense? That's basically what she calls is the break of the emotional mind. And so, Jeff has done a great job just saying, but she talked about it's just like this engine is continuing to go forward and sometimes without a break, and I think you provided many opportunities.
But that's Kutcher, it's an entire overhaul of the frontal the frontal lobe. They're just remodeling the whole frontal lobe, and it's forming itself, and they're not, because it's not formed, it doesn't necessarily make the most sense. But please feel free to call any of us if you have anything. Thank you very much. Have a great night.